So hello students. So in this video we will try to learn about the control valve characteristic. So before going into the detail of the control valve characteristic, we'll just analyze mathematically the relationship between the flow rate, that is the pneumatic pressure through the valve that we have given, and the displacement taken by the stem of the valve. So before going in the detail of these things, we'll just summarize what we have studied in the previous lecture. So in the previous lecture we were started with the final control element, and we established the block diagram and seen how the final control element will act. The final control element, that is the control valve, get the signal from the controller, and the controller will get the signal from the comparator. The comparator compare the signal from the set point, and the feedback signal taken by the control variable, or you can say the measured value from the sensor or from the transducer from the feedback system. Okay, so these the comparator will take generate the error signal, and this error will send to the controller, and controller will act accordingly. The controller basically we use in the industry is, we have already studied the proportional integral derivative and the hybrid of this PID controller. This PID controller generates the pneumatic signal and electrical signal, that is the I2 current signal, and the final control element will act accordingly. Okay, so these we have also seen the final control element is always works in the basically the feedback control system. Okay, so further we have seen the control valves. So we have seen the parts of the you can say the control valves. So in that portion we have studied first part of the control valve was the valve body, second was the valve positioner, and third was the actuator. And we have also established, we have seen the positioner was the basically the brain of the valve. Okay, and further we have seen the different types of the valve, and then we have tried to covered in the previous lecture that the use what is the use of different types of you can say the gauge and the regulator used in that valve. Okay, so further we have established the different types of different standard uh, pressure to I to P converter, or we can say the current to pressure converter. Okay, so we have seen in the previous lecture the 4 to 20 milliampere signal, that is milliampere electrical signal or the current signal, is converted into the 3 to 15 psi, or we can say 0.2 kg per centimeter square to 1 kg per centimeter square, or it can also be said as 0.2 to 1.0 bar. Okay, uh, further we have studied the control action of the control valve, and then we have studied the two types of mechanism basically act in the pneumatic control valves, that was the air to close and second was the air to open. So after the studying these things, we have considered when we use what are the criteria and what are the different criteria to use, or the choice between the air to open or you can say air to close. Okay, so if basically these things are depends on the safety consideration. Okay, and further we have seen the control valve mechanism. Okay. After the mechanism, we have studied the different types of basically valve. That is the linear valve or the non-linear valve, and the non-linearity depends on the various things. Okay. So today we will try to cover these properties, these characteristic of the valves. Okay. So before going into the details of the control valve characteristic, I want to mention that the what is the meaning of this characteristic. Okay, so what is the meaning of this characteristic? Basically, the characteristics graph and establish, or you can say determines by the what we are applying in the input and what we are taking as the output. So in an input we are supplying just a pressure, or you can say flow. Okay, and as a output we are just taking the stem displacement. Okay, or you can say the valve position. So the valve position will change according to these pressure, right? So after what are the different characteristic of changing this position? So this changing the characteristic of this changing the position is basically defined in terms of the characteristic. Okay, so basically the flow characteristic of a control valve is nothing but we are going to establish the relationship between the flow rate, okay, through the valve and the position, or the valve position taking by the changing the stem from 0 to 100%. Okay, so 0 to 100% means fully closed and fully open. So from the fully open to fully closed, or you can say from the fully closed to fully open. So further the inherent flow characteristic also we will study. So in inherent flow characteristic, basically it refers to the characteristic observed with a constant pressure. Okay, constant pressure drop across the valve. So basically, installed valve flow characteristic means the one obtained in a service where the pressure drops varies with the flow and other change in the system. Okay, so before going in the details of these things, we want to say that the to establish the flow characteristic, we need some you can say the dynamic analysis. Okay, dynamic analysis of the control loop. So we have to study first, or we have to establish the relationship between the these things of, that is the valve, how the pressure will change the stem position, right? So it means we have to develop a dynamic of the pneumatic, you can say pneumatic valve, or the different types of valve. That is the different valve is a variable capacitance. One different valve is variable capacitance differential pressure valve. Okay, so we will going to establish these two, basically the derivation of these two transfer function of these two valve, you can say, right? So now we are going to see how the dynamics or the transfer function is going to develop for these two valve. Okay, so this picture belongs to the pneumatic valve, and this picture is taken from the Stephanopoulos book. Okay, so you can refer that book, or in that book the derivation is given also, right? The derivation is given also. So basically the how now we are going to study how this pneumatic control valve will work. So basically the pneumatic valve is one of the most commonly used final control element in the process industry, right? We have already studied. So it is a system that exhibits inherent second order dynamics. We will see in the final derivation, these dynamics will show the second order type system. Okay, so we are considering a typical pneumatic valve that is shown here. Okay, the position of the stem means this system, the position of the stem will determine the size of opening for the flow, and consequently the size of the flow. Okay, that is the flow rate. So these, the position of the steam is determined by the balance of the forces acting, whatever the force acting on this steam, or you can say plug, uh, these force will decide the basically the position of the steam, right? So the what are the different force will act on the plug, it is the main problem. We have to understand these things. So first force is basically, sorry, first force acting in any of the any of the system. When we are going to establish the transfer function of the system, the three components will act on, the three components are responsible to develop the mathematical transfer function. So first term is basically, you can say, force. So the force is here given in the form of pressure. Okay, so force is basically defined in the terms of pressure into area, right? So whatever the force exerted by the compressed air transferred to the diaphragm, compressed air transferred to the diaphragm, okay, provided at the top of the diaphragm, basically provided at the top of the diaphragm, this pressure is basically denoted by, you can say in the picture, this P, okay. So P is the signal, okay, that opens or closes the valve, and A is the area, A, sorry, A is the area, okay, area of the diaphragm. Basically, this force act on the downward, right? So according to that, we will going to establish the relationship. So first term is force. That force is in the terms of pressure, and the pressure is given at the top of the diaphragm, right? Now, this force will act on the shaft through the spring, and the force acting on the spring is nothing but the kx. You know, the force exerted by the spring attached to the stem and the diaphragm, or you know, the spring follows the Hooke's law, and k is the Hooke's constant, okay, for the spring. And here you can say the displacement x is taking place, so the force due to this spring is kx. So F is equals to kx. So first force, yeah, the upper force, it means the upper force encounters or balance the first force acting on the spring, first acting due to the spring, you can say. So that force is kx. So F is equals to kx. Now second force is due to the damping force, right? So damping is nothing, you can say damping is a frictional type of force exerted upward and resulting from the close contact of the stem which flow which with the valve packing, right? So you can say this is the valve packing, and due to the frictional force, exerted upward, this force will work, okay. So this force, the frictional force, the coefficient of friction is here represented by C. In the contour system, the damping coefficient is basically denoted by capital B, but here we are representing the frictional force coefficient as a capital C. So this is the C is the frictional coefficient between the stem and the packing, okay. So damping is nothing but the basically the frictional force type, okay. Third, so this one is the first force is ho gaya, first force is one your F, that is in the terms of pressure. Second force is in term of spring, and third force in the term of the frictional force. And this damping force is given as a B into V, or you can say the velocity is nothing but dx by dt, okay. So B into dx by dt, or here we are representing the damping force, or you can say frictional force coefficient as a C. So the equation, you can see from in you can see, oh sorry, you can see here, right, C into dx by dt, this is the frictional force, okay. And this is the kx, this is the spring force, and this is the pressure into area, this is the force applied by upward, okay, or you can say on top of the diaphragm, right. So this force kx c dx by dt, and third force encountered is due to the mass of the stem, mass of the shaft, mass of this plug. Okay, so this force F is equals to, you know very well, M is equals to ma. So M is equals to nothing but a m into a, or a is nothing but d2x by dt. Here M is representing in the terms of m by gc. This is the gravitational force. Okay, so we have taking the mass in the terms of m by gc, nothing. Okay, so it is very easy, and it is easy to understand. Okay, so now this force, the upward force applying on the top, on the diaphragm, is encountered or balanced by the spring spring and frictional force due to the damping force, and third due to the mass. So this force, we can say Pa is equals to, you can say force is equals to m into a plus kx plus b into d2x by dx by uh, uh, b into dx by dt. Okay, so this ma is nothing but m into d2x by dt square. Okay, so here, or m is nothing in the written in the form of m by gc. Okay, so the equation becomes like this: pa minus kx minus c into dx by dt is equals to this. Okay, so it is very easy. Now I hope you are understand these things, the equation. So this equation, now we are arranging this equation, and got m by kgc. Okay, d2x by dt square plus c, we are taking the k as a common, from the equation, above equation. So we got c by k dx by dt plus x. Okay, a by k into p, right? So this equation is nothing but, the standard equation of the transfer function, second order transfer function, tau square d2x by dt square plus 2 zeta tau dx by dt plus x is equals to, kp into p, right? So, and the equation for the second order system is omega n square upon s square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square, and we are writing this, we are just taking the Laplace of this equation. Okay, Laplace of this equation, taking the initial condition 0, because what happened when we are not taking the initial condition 0. Initial condition must be taken as 0. Why? Because if we are with the putting not initial condition 0, the system becomes a nonlinear. Okay, and we have already seen these phenomena in the previous lecture. Okay, in the class also. So tau square d2x by dt square plus 2 zeta tau dx by dt plus x is equals to kp by p, where tau square is defined by m by kgc. Okay, 2 zeta tau is c by k, and kp is given by a by k, right? So transforming this equation from upper to downward, the tau square plus 2x by dt square plus 2 zeta tau plus 2x by dt plus x kp into p. Okay, so now we are taking the Laplace of this equation, and transferring the system, that is the transfer function is nothing but, the Laplace output upon Laplace input, putting all the initial condition 0, and we have taken the output as a, the stem, the plug displacement, and the input is nothing but the pressure. Okay, so when we have taken the transfer function xs upon ps, it becomes a by k m kgc s square plus c by k s plus 1. So this is the standard second order transfer function. Okay, now usually m, the value of mass is much lesser than k into gc. Okay, so k is but basically gain. If we are making the m less than k into gc, as a result, the first term of the denominator may be ignored, and after the ignorance, the transfer function becomes the first order system. So it is the beauty of this equation. If we are able to make m by kgc negligible, or it is only made providing the value of m is much lesser than to K into Gc, right? So we have to make the value K is higher. That means the spring constant, we have to take the value higher with comparison to the mass, or it is always occurring, right? So I hope this mathematical expression you understand how we are established this transfer function, right? The second is the basically you can say the second transducer is basically variable capacitance differential pressure transducer, and this variable capacitance differential pressure transducer is a very popular device, okay, which is used to sense and transmit pressure differences, okay. So as you seeing we can see in the figure 11.2, again this picture is taken by the Stephanopoulos, okay. So you can refer this picture from the Stephanopoulos. So basically a pressure signal is transferred through an isolating diaphragm, okay, an isolating diaphragm and fill liquid in a sealed capillary system, as you can see from the figure, okay. This is the capillary system, okay, sealed capillary system. In this capillary seal system, the filled liquid is going, and the pressure signal is transferred through an isolating diaphragm, okay, isolating diaphragm. So with a differential pressure sensing element as shown in the figure, as shown in this picture, okay. So it is attached, sorry, it is this is the picture, okay. So by supplying this is as a pressure like this in this tube, okay. So it is the basically other end capillary, we are transferring the signal from this side to this side, okay. So here the pressure is transmitted through a second isolating diaphragm and a filled liquid, right. So to a sensing diaphragm, this is the sensing diaphragm. So we are sending the signal pressure from this side to this side, okay. So a reference pressure will balance the sensing diaphragm on the other side of the diaphragm. The position of the sensing diaphragm is detected by capacitor plate, okay, by capacitor plate on both sides of the diaphragm, okay. So again we will going to establish the basically the relationship, or we will try to develop the transfer function for this also. So we can here the pressure difference, due to the pressure difference the force is created, okay, and this force is due to the pressure P1 of the process exercised at the end of the one of the capillary, and the force due to the pressure P2 to exercise, and due to the difference of this pressure the mass into acceleration, that is the force, will created, and thus difference P1A minus P2A is equals to nothing but d2x by d2 square, and this mass is given in terms of A into L, that is the volume into this density is becomes the mass, and mass is again divided by the Gc, that terms becomes the AL rho by Gc, right. I hope it is understand. If I am not going to fast, so I'm trying to again I am trying to repeat this again. So this difference of pressure, the pressure difference will create a force. This force is equivalent to the mass into acceleration. This mass into acceleration is basically occurred in the capillary due to the transfer of the pressure, okay, into the capillary field, okay. Now this mass is defined in terms of volume into density. Density into volume is 1 of mass upon Gc, okay. Gc is taking the reference, so mass upon Gc, and d2x by d2 is acceleration. So we have defined, okay, where what is the A is nothing but the area, cross sectional area of the capillary. L is the length of capillary tube, rho is the density of the liquid in the capillary tube, and x is the obviously the fluid displacement in the capillary tube, or you can say that ultimately the displacement of diaphragm occurred. Okay, so the force P2A at the end of the capillary is balanced by two terms, right? First term P2A is equals to nothing but again due to the Kx, that is the spring, and second term due to the damping force, or you can say the frictional force. And the frictional force is given in the terms of Kx, okay, plus Cdx by dt. So P2A is equals to nothing but Kx plus Cdx by dt. Again, the K is Hooke's constant, C is the frictional force, or you can say damping coefficient. Okay. So we are putting this equation into the equation, initial equation, and we got, again we are taking the transfer function. We are again taking the the Laplace and converting these things into the transfer function. Okay, putting all the initial condition 0. Then after the mathematical calculation, we got xs upon P1s, that is the P1s is the pressure transmitted from the figure 11.2a to 11.2b through the capillary, right? So tau square s square plus 2 zeta tau s plus 1, where tau is again defined in the terms of a L rho by kg s kg c, and zeta is 2 zeta tau is again c by k, kp is defined a by k. Now again, when okay, so these are the some mathematical derivation we have developed for the control valves, pneumatic valve basically. So with the help of this dynamics, we can understood the flow characteristic or the control valve characteristic very easily. Now you can see in this picture, and we have started the slide, the different types of the basically characteristic. See, this characteristic is again I'm telling you, the characteristic represent the relationship between the flow rate, that is the pressure supplying through the valve, and the displacement, or the you can say the position, the stem position traveled from 0 to 100%. Okay, now you can see from this picture basically, this is the shape of the plug. Okay, so again this picture is taken from the Stephanopoulos. This figure represents the different type of plug sizes. Plug size basically, the first you can say figure is, you can say this is the square root. Okay, how it is defined in the term of a square root. Okay, we will see later. This is the linear. Third one is, this is the equal percentage valve, and fourth one is hyperbolic, and fifth one is quick opening, right? So what are the different concept of these sizing, and how these different arrangement or this size will affect the transfer function or affect the characteristic curve, we will see in the next slide with the help of some mathematical relationship again. So basically you can see from this picture, this picture is taken from the Stephanopoulos. We have referred the Stephanopoulos book here. Okay, so you can also refer this Kufner and the Seaborg book, but I have taken this picture from the Stephanopoulos, right? So you can see the characteristic curves is defined in terms of some relationship. Suppose we have taken the first linear curve, the number one curve is a linear, and for the linear curve the relationship has been established as fx is equals to x. Fx is nothing but, again I am saying, this is the capacity, this is the flow, this is the pressure supplied supplied at the valve, and the position of the stem is the displacement of the stem is taking in the term of x. So we have established the linear characteristic valve as fx is equals to x. Okay, similarly, as in you can see for the square root, the fx is equals to you can see root x. Okay, For the third equal percentage valve, what is the definition of these things, how this works? We will see just from after a moment. Okay, so equal percentage valve, the characteristic is defined fx is equals to alpha x minus 1, where alpha is defined equal percentage for alpha is equals to 10 for the second curve, and for the third curve you can say that the looking like exponential curve, increasing exponential curve, fx is equals to uh, x alpha to the power x minus 1, that is the alpha is equals to 50. For the third, fourth, and fifth, they represent the hyperbolic characteristic curve. The the relationship of the hyperbolic characteristic curve is given by the fx is equals to 1 by alpha minus of alpha minus 1 into x. Okay, where alpha is 10 and alpha is 50 for the characteristic curve 4 and 5. And the last characteristic curve is 7, and 7 I have told this is the square root. Okay, and a square root characteristic curve is given in terms of fx is equals to root x. Sixth number is quick opening valve, and we already said what is the okay. So what is the meaning of basically quick opening valve, or what is the meaning of equal percentage, what is the meaning of linear valve, just we will uh, trying to learn. So the concept of equal quick opening or the equal percentage or the linear valve depends on the depends on the opening of valve. Okay, opening of valve from the supply of, you can say, the the pressure. Okay, so a quick opening valve plug produces a basically large increase in flow for a small initial change in stem travel. Okay, so near maximum flow is reached at a relatively low percentage of maximum stem lift. Okay, so quick opening valves, or you can say quick opening plugs, are normally utilized in two positions, either the on or the off application, but may be used in some linear valve application also. This is possible because of initial linear characteristic at a low percentage of stem travel, right? So the slope of this linear region is very steep. The slope of the this linear region, you can see from the figure from the curve 6, it is very steep, which produces a very high initial gain than the linear plug, but also increases the potential instability of the control valve, right? So basically the quick opening valve, we are supplying a small amount of pressure in order to that, in corresponding to that pressure, the plug produces a very large increase in flow for a small initial change in stem travel, right? So these are the concept for the quick opening valve. However, the equal percentage is the characteristic most commonly used in the process control. Okay, equal percentage valve, or this characteristic is most commonly used valve in the process industries. The concept of this is the change in the flow per unit valve. We will see these things from the mathematical expression also, but here we will just trying to elaborate from the definition. The change in flow, listen very carefully what I'm telling you, the change in flow per unit of valve stroke is directly proportional to the flow occurring just before the change is made. So while the flow characteristic of the valve itself may be equal percentage, most control loops will produce an installed characteristic approaching linear when the overall system pressure drop is large relative to that across the valve, right? So in similar way, the linear characteristic basically produces equal changes as flow and the plug position. So as corresponding to whatever we are applying the flow, as corresponding to that equal amount of plug position will change, right? So linear plugs, so we can define it as an inherently linear characteristic produces equal changes in flow per unit of valve stroke regardless of plug position, right? So linear plugs are used on those systems where the valve pressure drop is a major portion of the total system pressure drop, right? Okay, so these are the concepts, these are some concepts. Now based on these concepts, we will try to develop the mathematical relationship of linear. So what we have said here, the linear valve is nothing but what we are supplying the force, or you can say the pressure, corresponding to that the displacement will taking place, right? Equal amount of displacement will taking place. So we can here change, we can establish here, we can write the equation df by dx, or you can say the force, change in force with respect to change in displacement is directly is a constant. Okay, is a constant. So alpha is a constant. So dA by dx equals to alpha. Is it right? There is no harm to write this equation. Okay, dA by dx is equals to alpha for the linear valve, for the linear characteristic valve. Okay. So now our target is to solve this equation, the differential equation, the first order differential equation. Okay. So assuming that the valve is shut tight when the lift is at lowest position. Now f is equals to 0 at x equal to 0. Okay, we are just taking the initial condition x is equal to 0, the f value the f equal to 0. Now we are taking for the linear valve when x is equals to 1, f equals to 1, when x is equals to 2, f is equals to 2. Okay, so at that we are just taking the integral 0 to 1, okay, df, and 0 to 1 dx. So after the integrating the term, okay, we just dA becomes f and fx, and just we are taking dx as x. So okay, so now we are taking the value of alpha as equals to 1. We can take any value that changes only the slope of that equation. Okay, nothing in that. So fx is equals to x. Suppose we are taking the alpha is equals to 2, then fx becomes 2x. So that only change the is that changes the deviation rate, or you can say the slope of that linear valve, right? So similarly we can see here for the equal percentage valve, what we have seen, what we have studied in the equal percentage. So we told earlier, basically equal percentage is the most commonly used valve in the process industry, and the concept of this based on the change in flow per unit of valve stroke is directly proportional the change in flow, that is the change in pressure, that is change in force. Okay, the change in force, okay, with respect to, you can say, x, directly proportional to the flow occurring just before the change is made. It means df by dx is equals to a constant multiplied by f, that is that f, right? So with the help of this, you can take the small f in the denominator and just we take the transfer the dx in the right hand side. The equation become dA by f and beta into dx. Now we just integrate this equation from initial f naught to final f, and the displacement 0 to x. Based on this, we have taken x at x equal to 0. Okay, the value of f, this f naught. Based on this, just we find log, natural log f upon f naught equals to beta x. Okay, now just we convert into exponential term, so f becomes f naught e to the power beta x. Now when x is equals to 1, we taking the f is equals to 1. Okay, so based on this, just we have tried to find the value of constant, that the beta, or now put the equation, and finally we got 19.11. And this equation, the derivation of this equation, f is equals to alpha to the power x minus 1, we have taken. This is the characteristic of equal percentage valve. So this derivation, either for the linear valve, for the equal percentage valve, is taken from the Kufner book. Okay, now we are come to the valve sizing. So we have seen earlier, at the time of the development of dynamics of liquid level system for the non-linear valve, we have seen that the valve characteristics, the non-linear valves basically depend, as now we have seen also, the from the square root, or you can say from the square root of the characteristic. Okay, square root characteristic, the Fx is equals to root x. It means what we are supplying as a force, the displacement is occurred in as a square root of terms. Okay, so based on this we can see that q is the flow rate. Okay, q is the flow rate. This flow rate is basically depends, or the relationship between the flow and the pressure is like a square root. Okay, so q is directly proportional to root p. Q is, okay, the flow of the charge, the flow of any liquor, or you can say anything. Q is directly proportional to root p. So this is the concept. Pressure is directly proportional, q is directly proportional, the flow is directly proportional to pressure, and due to this this equation will govern, the sizing of the valve. Okay, so cv, fx is, these are the some term constant. The concept is q is directly proportional to root p. This is the sg. So these terms are defined as a q is, flow rate, fx is fraction of maximum flow, okay, x is the fractional stem position, delta p is again pressure drop, okay, across the valve, sg is a specific gravity of fluid at steam temperature related to water, and CV is factor associated with the capacity of valve. So these are the some constants. Basically the main term is Q is directly proportional to root P. So based on this, there is an example given. So try to solve this equation, this question, this problem. Okay. So next is the sensitivity and rangeability. So the type of valve characteristic can be defined in terms of sensitivity, right? So sensitivity of the valve, which is simply the fractional change in the flow of fractional change in a stem position, okay, with respect to the pressure, okay, whatever the pressure we are supplying, either the upstream or the downstream. So mathematically sensitivity is nothing but change in pressure or change in force with respect to the stem position. So df by dx is the sensitivity of the valve. Now the rangeability is nothing but the fx change, maximum change occurred due to the valve, in the valve, sorry, and the minimum controllable change occurred in the valve. The ratio of these things is defined as the rangeability. So we can understood is as like this: to express the range over which an equal percentage valve will follow the equal percent characteristic. Okay, so rangeability is defined as the ratio of maximum flow to minimum controllable flow over which the flow characteristic is followed. Okay, so these are the some terms. Now these are some basic questions given to you as an assignment, as a problems. So if you feel any problem to solve, this revision problem or this revision question as the assignment, just to contact me, or just to mail me, or just to you call me uh, for the proper explanation. I will provide the full answer of these questions, right? So I am stopping here. Next time we will try to cover some other topics, interesting topics like process control. What is the use? What are the use? What why we are going to study the process control? We will see with some process control example. We will also see the Bhopal tragedy. Now, right now in the recent time, we have covered with a problem of Andhra. Okay, so we will try to cover that. Okay, thank you very much.